Have you ever just stopped and tried to imagine what all of human knowledge would look like if you could actually hold it in your hands? Not on your phone, but on actual physical paper. Well, today we're going to dive into a pretty wild what-if scenario. What would it actually take to print out the entire English Wikipedia, and then somehow keep it constantly updated?
So picture this. You've got this massive library, and the shelves are literally groaning under the weight of the printed English Wikipedia. But here's the real kicker. Wikipedia is never finished, right? It's always changing, always being edited. So the question is, how many printers would you need running 24/7 just to keep that paper copy of yours perfectly in sync? Go on, take a guess. A couple hundred, maybe 1,000?
The answer, and you're not going to believe this, is 6. Yeah, just 6 printers. That can't be right, can it? I mean, that number feels just impossibly small, and that's because it's kind of the whole trick. The number of printers, that's a distraction, a red herring that hides a much, much bigger and way more expensive problem. Okay, so before we can even get to the whole updating part, we need to get our heads around the absolutely mind-boggling scale of printing Wikipedia just once. So let's forget about the printers for a minute, because the real challenge, right out of the gate, is the insane amount of paper.
So let's start small, just to get a feel for this. Way back in 2012, a guy named Rob Matthews printed only Wikipedia's featured articles. The best of the best, the cream of the crop. And the result? A single book that was several feet thick. And remember, that is a tiny, tiny curated slice of the whole thing.
Right, so a few years later, an artist, Michael Mandelberg, had this installation project to try and visualize this. He printed just 1% of all the articles. And even that tiny sliver was completely enormous. It really starts to give you a hint of the true, staggering scale we're dealing with here.
So what's the grand total? If you were to print the entire English Wikipedia today, and we're just talking about the text, no images, you would end up with a collection of books that would fill about 300 cubic meters of space. We're not talking about a bookshelf. We're not even talking about a big room. We are talking about the inside of a standard shipping container, just packed floor to ceiling with books.
Okay, so we've established that a single static copy is colossal. Now let's get back to our main question. How do you keep that massive library updated in real time? This is where we figure out how on earth we get to that magic number of 6 printers. Here it is. This is the key statistic that drives this whole thing. The English Wikipedia is a constant whirlwind of activity. Every single day, it gets something like 150,000 edits. Now, if you break that down, it comes out to a relentless pace of about 100 new edits every single minute, 24/7. It never stops.
So how does that possibly lead to just 6 printers? Well, the calculation is surprisingly simple. You start with those 100 edits per minute. Then you make a pretty fair assumption. Let's say each edit requires reprinting 1 page. This kind of averages out the tiny typo fixes with the major rewrites and the reverts. A decent inkjet printer can spit out about 15 pages a minute. So you just divide 100 by 15 and there you have it. You need about 6.5 printers, so let's call it 7 just to be safe, running nonstop to keep pace. And this right here is the brilliant twist in this whole problem. The number of printers is totally manageable. The real roadblock, the actual reason a live paper Wikipedia is impossible, isn't the hardware. Oh no, it is the staggering, day-after-day cost of just keeping the thing running. All right, let's follow the money, because this is the exact moment where a fun little thought experiment spirals into an absolute financial nightmare.
First up, electricity. You'd think 7 machines just chugging away nonstop would be a huge power drain, but nope. Surprisingly, it's not that bad. You're only looking at a few bucks a day. And that, my friends, is the first and last piece of good financial news you're going to hear. Next up, the paper. With 150,000 edits a day, you are printing 150,000 new pages every single day. And at roughly a cent per sheet, your daily paper bill suddenly rockets up to around $1,000. Okay, now we are talking about real money. But here it is. Here is the real project killer, the ink. Anybody who owns a home printer knows exactly where this is going. Ink costs can range anywhere from 5 to 10 cents per page. So for 150,000 daily pages, that means you would be spending a jaw-dropping $10,000 per day just on ink cartridges. This chart just lays out the financial absurdity perfectly, doesn't it? The cost of electricity is so small it's barely even a blip on the radar. The paper cost?
Yeah, it's a noticeable stack. But the cost of the ink? It is a skyscraper that completely dwarfs everything else. It's not even playing the same game.
Let's just put that daily cost into perspective for a second. In just a month or two of running your live paper Wikipedia, this little project could easily burn through $500,000. The cost it's just astronomical. It's completely unsustainable.
So, okay, the project is a financial black hole. But let's pretend for a second you had unlimited money. There is still one final logistical absurdity that just perfectly captures why this whole idea really truly belongs in the digital world.
Do you remember back in 2012 when Wikipedia went dark for a day to protest some legislation? Well, if you wanted your paper version to participate in that protest, you couldn't just unplug the printers. Oh no, you would have to hire a team of people to go through your 300 cubic meters of paper with giant black markers and literally black out every single page by hand.
And that brings us right to the simple, inescapable conclusion. While this is a really fun thought experiment, it's also a powerful reminder of the incredible, almost magical efficiency of the digital world we live in. The real takeaway here isn't just that printer ink is a total ripoff. It's that the ability to store, update, and share the sum of human knowledge instantly for almost no cost, well, that's one of the true marvels of our time.